Hey everybody, welcome back to a new video here on the channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all of the domains and email addresses I have and how they work with my YouTube channel to make my online presence that much better. So I'm going to be talking about what domains I have. You may be able to see them on the screen now. And of course, what emails I have, how it all works, and how much it costs as well, because it is not free. Trust me on that, and trust my bank account. It knows too. So I will be talking about all of these things as well as showing you all of my websites because I think it's really interesting to talk about these things and how online presence is really changing even today after the internet has been around for a little bit. And all of my life, as a matter of fact. I am pretty young. Anyway, so let's get right into the video and talk about what domains I own and what addresses, or what websites rather, are on those domain addresses. So you may be able to see here, this is my Hover dashboard. So this is the domain registrar that I use, mostly because I got a pretty good deal on the first couple of domains I registered. And honestly, I really do like Hover. I've seen a lot of really good reviews online, and I really appreciate the simplicity of their user interface and payment methods and everything like that, because let me tell you, domains can be pretty complicated. So they make it simple. That's why I like them. I'm not sponsored by any of the companies I talk about in today's video. I would like to be, but I'm not. Okay. So my first website here is one I bought right when I started my YouTube channel. It was technically, I bought it in October of 2019. But this has been my main website, even though I started making regular uploads in August of 2019. This website is the main one I use. It's been in the descriptions of all of the videos that have been uploaded during this couple of year period where I've been uploading weekly. You can go back and look. They're all there. And this is the main website that I use. It's just my name @.com, which is just the most basic domain. Everyone knows what .com is. And if you go in here and see, it renews for $15 a year. That's US dollars, so I pay a little more because I'm Canadian. And you can see I registered it in October of 2019, and the renewal date is every year, and it cost me this every year. So I did actually get a better deal. The first year I got like 20, 30 some percent off. I do have auto renew turned off on all of these things just because I would rather get the reminder emails saying, okay, we would really like you to renew this, just so I know what's going on and I can note down that transaction. And we won't scroll down on this page because that is where my personal info is, including my address. So instead, what we're going to talk about is how I use this domain. Because if you go to kylenewcomb.com, I can just do it now, kylenewcomb.com, it redirects to my website. Now, you may have seen this if you've ever clicked on that link in the description of my videos. But Hover doesn't provide web hosting. They just provide domain registration services. So that's where my next kind of thing comes in. So I actually use HostGator for my actual website hosting and design. So I have linked this domain via some very technical processes, which I really don't want to get into. So I've linked that domain I registered with Hover to HostGator. And this is where I actually design and host the content on my website. So I got a really, really good deal. That's why I went with HostGator. It's actually on a 2-year term. So I registered it around the same date I bought kylenewcomb.com from Hover. So now this is the website that I am using, and this is how it's made. So I can actually just go in here and show you guys. This is the HostGator editor. It's very simple. I do know HTML somewhat, but trust me, I don't want to spend time actually coding a website. So this is really great for me. So from here, you can actually edit all of the elements and then, of course, save and publish the site when ready. And of course, what I do love about HostGator, as well as Squarespace and most kind of mainstream web hosting companies these days, is they allow you to check on mobile. So what's it going to look like? And if it does look off, I can actually put a custom design on mobile so everything lines up better. Excuse me. So that's how the HostGator works for me. And I really do like it. It's very simple. It's really cheap. It's like $2.30 a month or something like that. That's what it adds up to over the 2-year term. And I'm really, really happy with this service. It's certainly not for professionals, but I'm not a professional. I have not made any money from this at all. So I will be talking about how that all shakes up and why I still think it's worth it. But anyway, back to kylenewcomb.com. So this website, domain is registered with Hover. The actual web hosting is done with HostGator. And this is really nice because I've just added a bunch of pages to my website. This is all about me. It doesn't have everything to do with the YouTube channel. It does say the YouTube channel on the landing page. It talks about it, and it gives a link to go visit it, which is really nice. And I will be talking about domain forwarding in a second. But then there's all the other pages on the website. So if you've never been over here, this is all of my videos. So this is one of my kind of prime video pieces that I've done. Then there's all of the playlists from my YouTube channel. HostGator actually has a really nice kind of YouTube playlist kind of element that you can add to web pages, and that's really nice. Then I've also posted written copies of all of the scripted reviews I've done, which to be honest isn't many, but I am really happy that this is here just so people can read some of my writing if they want. This is done with HostGator's kind of blog templates, which are really easy to use. Then on this page, I've talked about stock footage. I've listed just like 2 or 3 clips on Shutterstock because the requirements really are out of this world. But it just does say here, if you do want more stock clips, contact me, whatever. It's just here so people know that I have a lot of footage that could be used as stock footage if they're interested in. Speaking of interests, I do have an interest page because I am a student. That's my main kind of focus right now. The YouTube channel is a total side thing, as you may be able to see from my subscriber count. But these are just all the things I'm interested in so people can know a little bit more about me, and I have some relevant images on this page. And you can certainly visit here if you do want to see some of the things I'm interested in and working on. Speaking of, let's talk about crypto next, because crypto is actually something that I've been really into recently, and I've learned quite a lot about it. And you can see here one of my other domains. So this is a really quick sidebar. We'll get back to the main sort of thing in a second. But kylenewcomb.crypto is actually a website that I own, which is really, really cool. And I do really think this is potentially the future of the web. So as you can see on this page on my website, this is on the decentralized web. So kylenewcomb.crypto, that address is actually an ERC721 NFT on the Ethereum blockchain that I own. So you can actually view it in my Ethereum wallet here. This is my wallet address up here. And then here is the .crypto unstoppable domains token that I own in this wallet. It's really cool. Trust me. And .crypto domains, there's some really cool things about them that are kind of atypical. So first, you do need a supported browser or extension. Like most web browsers, Google Chrome, for example, won't automatically just think this is a domain and direct you to that. So I do have the Unstoppable Domains extension installed in my Google Chrome browser. And then .crypto domains, there's no renewal fees because once you have that token in your address on the Ethereum blockchain, no one else can remove it, right? So it's just yours forever. And you do need to pay some fees in order to get the Ethereum blockchain to execute that transaction. But once it's done, it's done. And then as you can see down here, it can also accept crypto payments. So in all of these cryptocurrencies, if you're using a supported wallet, you can send me all of these cryptocurrencies to kylenewcomb.crypto instead of a really ugly address like this one up here, which is my Ethereum address, right? Like that's just impossible to remember. So if you are using a supported wallet, then you can just send crypto to kylenewcomb.crypto. So having a domain like this is a really great investment. And kind of like how I bought kylenewcomb.com just so I would have it, and then I kind of built the website a little bit later. This is just so I have this, and then I can use it for crypto in the future, once I'm, more, financially better off. You know what I mean? Because I'm a student right now. It's not like I've got a ton of money to throw around. So anyway, that's that. And I really am interested in crypto. And that's just a total sidebar. I'll actually show you what that website looks like really quickly. So kylenewcomb.crypto, we can go there. And as you can see, here it is. So this is my decentralized web address. So it talks here about, all those things I also mentioned on my website. It said, here's all the cryptos. And then there's also a link to my Twitter, my LinkedIn, as well as back to kylenewcomb.com. So you can just visit me on the regular web as well. So this is just kind of a simple landing page. I don't need much more over here. I may build kind of my full website on the blockchain in the future, but right now that's not really something I'm putting much time into. It's just really nice to have a landing page on this decentralized web, as well as having it be an address for sending crypto to. So now back to kylenewcomb.com. The last page, you may have seen it up at the top, is to contact. So HostGator has some really great contact forms. I've just put in a pretty basic one in here. So this will forward you to my actual @kylenewcomb.com email address, which I'll talk about in a second. And this is just a simple contact form. I've gotten only a few submissions through here, nothing big, but having it here is free. So might as well, if people want to get in contact with me. I've also put my Twitter handle on here in case people didn't see the link on the homepage. And I just use Twitter a lot. So if you want to DM me there anytime, go for it. Anyway, back to the domains over here at Hover. If we go to view all domains, you can see that I have an email set up for kylenewcomb.com. And this is actually my business kind of email. So we can see here, I've claimed the pretty self-absorbed address of kyle@kylenewcomb.com. I mean, what else am I going to do, right? So this is really just kind of funny to me. So this is a small mail address. So if you've ever looked at Hover email addresses, you can get a forward, which I'll talk about in a second, for $5 a year. I actually have one of those. Then you can get a small mailbox. So it's like 10 gigabytes of storage for $20 a year. And then I think for $40 a year, you can get a large mailbox with 1 terabyte of storage, as well as some extra features. But 10 gigs of storage for emails, that is a ton. So I am perfectly happy with that. $20 a year is great. Really great price for this custom email. So this is my main kind of business professional email. And then I've also synced it with Apple Mail. I won't pull up Apple Mail right now because there's a bunch of like business stuff on there, as well as all of my other email addresses, some of which aren't known to the public. But on Apple Mail, I have signed in with this and connected Apple Mail to Hover's name servers so that this email just gets synced with Apple Mail on my computer, which is really convenient as well. Next, let's talk about kyle.bz. So this is really an interesting domain for me because I bought it not that long ago, just in February of this year, 2021. As you can see, it renews a year later. And kyle.bz is just a really short domain because that's literally the only reason I own it. So .bz, you might think it's .biz, but that's actually a different domain extension. .bz is actually the domain extension for the country of Belize, but they just let anybody buy it, which is really convenient. So I wanted something Kyle some extension, and BZ was just the shortest one that was available on Hover for a cheap price. So I decided to go with that, and that's why I own it, because I am in business, so the BZ does make some sense at least. But you can see here, this is a more expensive domain just because it's shorter and it's using a unique extension. But then you may be able to see down here, I've got a bunch of forwards. So if you actually go to kyle.bz, it just redirects to kylenewcomb.com because I didn't want to, pay for another whole website via HostGator or something else like that. So I figured, why do that when I can just forward it? So within the Hover dashboard, you can just forward your domain to different websites. So this is insanely useful. I've used this a ton. So you can see that kyle.bz/whatever will actually redirect to the relevant pages on my full website. And then I've got my Instagram.kyle.bz redirects to my Instagram. Same with Twitter and YouTube. And then I've also just got some random links in here. This is my forwarding domain. It's basically my very own personal bit.ly or tiny URL or Owly or whatever, which I find really useful because having a bit.ly on your website. Sure, it looks professional, but not as professional as this, let me tell you. And for $25 a year, I think it's really, really useful. And kind of the long play I had when I got this was the email address that it uses. So kyle@kyle.biz. That is just the funniest email to me. So I had to get it. And you can see here, it is a type forward. So what this actually means is that for $5 a year, anyone can email this address and it will redirect to my kyle@kylenewcomb.com. So what this means is that when I reply, it'll be from this address, but not this one. But the reason I have this is because this is super easy to remember and just super short to type into an email client, so there's less likelihood of mistakes. I just really appreciate having this email, and that's what's actually listed on my YouTube About page if you go there and look for it. So this is the email that most business or like companies or organizations will actually reach out to me with, but then they'll get a reply from this email, which is still very clearly the same person and still looks very professional. Now let's talk about my last domain, which I actually just bought this week because there was a huge sale on it. So newcomb.tech is just another really good domain to have on hand. I don't have any emails for it because honestly, I don't need any. But kyle@newcomb.tech would be a pretty good email, not gonna lie. So as you can see here, I just bought it recently on May 12th of 2021. And this domain is just here for whatever, because I've set up a forward. So it actually forwards, if we go to it here, newcomb.tech. So newcomb.tech, as you can see here on screen, redirects to my YouTube channel. So if we go here, it actually just redirects to my YouTube channel. And I just find this is really just a good way to have it. So before I had, youtube.kyle.bz looks really cool, but newcomb.tech to redirect to Kyle Newcomb's Tech YouTube channel is pretty awesome. So as you can see here, this is my About page. As I mentioned, the kyle@kyle.bz is the email address I have listed here. So that's really cool. And you can see that I've actually put in these things. So kylenewcomb.com is my website. I just put that here because why not? But then for the contact page, instead of doing kylenewcomb.com/contact, I put in the much shorter one because shorter links are just easier to remember and way more useful online. So that's really cool. Oh, and the channel's crossed 80,000 views today. How very interesting. That's super cool. And then of course on my YouTube channel, I do have a link back to my website because everything's linked everywhere, and that's just how it goes. Now, I will tell you that I don't really have much utility for newcomb.tech other than just redirecting it to my YouTube channel. Even though I have a YouTube channel custom URL, if you go to youtube.com/Kyle Newcomb, it'll take you to my YouTube channel. But this is just a way shorter domain. And honestly, the only reason I got it was because it was on sale. I'll be completely honest. So .tech domains are normally $50 a year, which is the most expensive out of any of my domains, but it was on sale for $5. So 90% off. I'm going to take that deal all day. So I may not keep this domain when it renews next year unless I find some serious utility for it. So we'll just have to see what I find out. But those are my 3 domains plus a decentralized .crypto domain plus 2 emails. And that's all there is to it. So I know this video has been extremely long. I haven't actually kept track, but oh, no, now I have. I've been recording for over 20 minutes. So if you have been interested in this sort of thing, this is just how I run everything behind the scenes. Trust me, I've spent a ton of hours setting up all of these websites, paying for things, hosting providers, this stuff isn't free in terms of money or time. So hopefully I've given you some insight just into how this is going, what I use all these websites and emails for. And certainly it is a good idea, as if you've ever seen ads for companies like Hover, they literally go like, hey, if you have an idea for a company or a website or something like that, just buy the domain, because the domains are not the expensive part. It's the web hosting, it's setting up the online store, it's paying all these people to do other, transactions for you. So the domain really isn't the expensive part. The most expensive one I have is $50 a year. So if you've got a really good business idea, just holding on to that domain might be really worth it in the end. before someone else claims it, and you may have to buy it for thousands of dollars, which would be a real bummer. So I just really like having these domains around. They are not cheap, but let me tell you, I have gotten free products for the YouTube channel, including this microphone, by the way, which I made a video about last week, so I will link that in the description. But I've gotten free products for my YouTube channel worth more combined than everything I've spent on domains and websites and emails. It's close, but the products are worth a little bit more, which is actually a really, really cool thing because trust me, it's really nice to have companies feel like they can reach out to me, just some random student making, tech videos with under 400 subscribers. It's really cool that companies feel like they can reach out. And I'm not saying that's all to do with these custom domains and emails, but having a professional web presence is just like insanely good to have for a couple of reasons. One, companies, can learn much more about you than just looking at your YouTube homepage, for example. And two, if something happens to any number of platforms, you've got your own website. So I'm not saying a website, unless you host it yourself, is invulnerable. It's certainly not. HostGator or Hover could go offline tomorrow, but then I've still got my YouTube channel and Twitter and my .crypto address. And that's really why I got that .crypto address, because it's kind of a last line of defense. Since it's on a blockchain, it's really hard to remove. So that's kind of if the rest of the internet is down sort of situation. Then I've got, if HostGator goes offline, okay, so people still have my Twitter and my YouTube. If YouTube goes offline, they can find me at my website. So everything is just a really good backup to have, and it's really good to have all of your data in more than one place. It's not smart to just have, a single place people can find you at online, because if you're trying to build a following, people need to know where to find you for different kinds of content or for, in case something goes wrong with your main platform you're on. Diversification of revenue streams is a thing creators talk about a lot. Diversification of platforms is also really key. So I hope you found this really, really way too long video helpful and provided you some insight into why it's a really good idea to have an online presence. I've really overdone it. If you just want to have a website, just do that. You don't need a forwarding domain. That's pretty advanced. You don't need a custom domain for your YouTube channel. That's really unnecessary. Just claim a custom YouTube URL and be done with it. But having a website and perhaps an email is a really good idea. I've certainly overdone it. But if you do want to do some of this stuff on your own in the future, hopefully this provided you with some insight on the different utilities of domains, websites, and custom emails. And yeah, that's it. So thank you very much for watching this video, everyone. If you did like the audio quality of this video, which hopefully you did, that's actually my new USB microphone, the Fine 683A USB. So I did make a video on that last week, which I will link in the description below. I really like this microphone, and it's just a shameless plug for another video I made, so don't worry about that. Anyway, if you do want to follow me on YouTube, subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications for upcoming videos every Tuesday. And of course, if you want to follow me online, definitely head to kylenewcomb.com, kyle.biz, newcomb.tech, or twitter.kyle.biz to follow me on Twitter. You know how it is. Anyway, that's enough plugs. Thank you for watching this really long video, everyone. If you are still watching, you're clearly very interested in this topic. So if you do have any questions for me, definitely leave them in a comment below, and I'll be sure to respond as soon as I can. Thank you for watching, everyone, and I'll see you next week.